Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Erin, and today we are doing a video that I'm not quite sure how much of you are actually going to want to see. I'm actually really close to hitting 2,000 subscribers here on YouTube, which is very exciting and mind-blowing and crazy. But I have been contemplating the idea of doing a Q&A video, and I didn't know if anyone would actually care to ask me questions and then me answer them and tell you guys my thoughts and about me, I guess. So I don't know how well this video is gonna go over. So if you guys do like this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments down below. So let's get started. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do all these questions, but I will try to do as many as I can. Let's start with this question. I think it's really interesting, and I guess I don't really talk about why I started a channel, but this is what prompted you to start your channel. And I have been a fan of YouTube and watching YouTubers for so long. I remember being in middle school and watching beauty YouTubers. I've always been in the YouTube space somehow, and I've always wanted to do it, but I kind of just chickened out, thinking that I wasn't going to be engaging enough or exciting enough, or people wouldn't like my personality or wouldn't care what I have to say. But after I graduated college, I was in not the best place mentally. I had a lot going on. I had been through a lot the last few years, and I was just I was really depressed. I was really depressed, and I decided that the best way to help me cope was to use something as a creative outlet. And so I made this channel to talk about books, to talk about makeup, two things that made me so happy and so excited and genuinely brought me joy. And so I thought, you know, if no one watches my videos, I'm at least using it as an outlet, and I can just be creative and, you know, just have fun while doing it. So it really just started out as me thinking no one would watch me, and me using it as kind of an escape from reality and just being able to talk about things I really loved. And I've met so many amazing people who also love horror books, who just love horror in general, who love makeup, and they are the kindest people. And yeah, you guys literally bring me so much joy, and this is without a doubt the best thing I've probably ever done. And I'm really sad that I didn't do it sooner, but also just happy that I have this community now that I do. And yeah, it's a great place for me to be able to talk about things I love and things that make me happy with other people who love the same things. It's so nice because, you know, it's hard sometimes to find people that like the same things as you do. And so finding just a community who loves it as well, you can just talk, and it's a really comforting feeling. So yeah, I started my channel because I was super depressed, and I knew I needed some kind of outlet to help me a bit. So yeah, that's the reason. Okay, next up is the most disturbing book I've ever read. That will have to be Dead Inside by Chandler Morrison. It is without a doubt the grossest, nastiest, vile book I've probably ever read. The subject matter is very dark, very messed up, very graphic and horrific. I wouldn't recommend it because it's a lot. It's a lot. But yeah, that's probably the most disturbing / messed up book I've ever read. What's your dream job? This has changed probably throughout my entire life. When I was a kid, I wanted to be involved in the vet world, and then I found out that, you know, I'd have to deal with injured and sick animals, and I just knew I couldn't do that. I wanted to be a singer, I wanted to be a teacher, I wanted to be all kinds of things, to be honest. The dream when I was in high school / college was to be a therapist, but long story short, that didn't go over the way I wanted it to, and it kind of, it was a mess for me, so I kind of lost that passion. Now, if you ask me at the age of 26 what my dream job would be, it would probably be something involving books. I always wanted to be a writer. I don't know if I'd ever write a book. It's something I've contemplated a lot. But yeah, I would love to do something with books. Honestly, this channel is a dream job. I would love to be able to make money from reviewing books and talking about books and talking about makeup and stuff like that. That would be like amazing. But as of right now, I don't know. I don't know what my dream job would be. Yeah, so that's the answer. Okay, this question is, what was your first horror book that made you say, yep, this is my genre? Oh, that's a hard one. Honestly, I don't really remember the first horror book where I was like, oh yeah. But if I had to take a guess, it would probably be Stephen King's Needful Things. I remember reading that book and being like, I need all the horror. I need to read all the horror now. I don't know what it was about Needful Things. I think it was just so consuming to me that I realized horror was such a intense genre that had so many layers to it, and I could find so many different kinds of horror that I realized I had not explored the genre enough, and I wanted to be so much more involved in it. So I would probably say Needful Things by Stephen King. That's what comes to mind off the top of my head. I think that would be the book. Okay, next question. What is the book that has scared you the most? Honestly, I don't know if I have an answer to this. I don't remember ever being truly terrified while reading a book. I don't know, I feel like I'm just really hard to scare, and I don't really get those feelings that movies can usually do to me. I feel like horror movies, I'm definitely easier to be startled and freaked out and like spooked, but with books it's a lot harder for me, and I don't know if it's because I can't really like see, like I can picture it in my head, but it's not as terrifying if I can see it on the TV, so I'm not sure if that's why. But I feel like the creepiest books to me were probably Pen Pal by Dathan Auerbach. That is without a doubt 100% one of my favorite books of all time. I love that book. I know a lot of people didn't, but I also just think it was a crazy book, and I think the idea of that book, like what happens in the book, is truly horrifying. So I would say Pen Pal by Dathan Auerbach or Dear Laura by Gemma Amor, just because, again, what happens within the plot of those two books are so creepy to me and so freaky that if I imagine myself in the shoes of the protagonist, it would genuinely terrify me. So I would have to go with those, I think. Okay, this question is, aside from horror, what is your favorite genre? I typically stay in the horror, thriller, mystery genre, but in high school, my absolute favorite type of book to read was romance. I am a big fan of romance. I still love a good romance book, if I'm honest. I love horror and romance mixed, which is not everyone's favorite, but I personally love that little bit of spark between two characters. I don't know. I just really like the romantic side of horror. I think it's very interesting, so I do like a little bit of romance with my horror. So I would probably say romance if I didn't pick like thriller or mystery. I don't read too much romance now just because I don't really have a lot of time, and yeah, most people come to this channel for horror and not romance, but I would like to read some more romance. There's some books that I've been eyeing that I might do on my own time, but yeah, it'd probably be romance. I got this question a couple of times. What is my favorite non-horror book? So, God, it's been years since I've read anything outside of horror. But in high school, I read a lot of Sarah Dessen. I liked YA the most when I was in high school and like early college. I just really liked YA romance the best. It was more fun for me. So I read a lot of Sarah Dessen books. I was a big Sarah Dessen fan, and my favorite book by her was The Truth About Forever. I reread that book about 6 or 7 times in the span of like a few years, just because it made me feel so like, I don't know, it made me feel seen as a teenager, I guess, which sounds really dumb, but it just felt like I could connect to all her characters, and I always had something in common with the main characters that she wrote. So as a teen / early college, I really felt some type of way about her writing. I'm just a big fan of realistic fiction in general, so realistic romance is definitely my favorite. Yeah, but The Truth About Forever and probably Just Listen were my two favorites by her. I read those ones quite a bit. This question is makeup related. It's like the only one in this bunch, but it's your favorite indie beauty and makeup brands. I really like Kaleidos. They're probably one of my all-time favorites right now. I really liked Colored Rain. Oh, Colored Rain is great. Nomad Cosmetics is really interesting. They kind of had a controversy a little bit ago, but from what I've tried from them, I really did enjoy. Menagerie Cosmetics is also a really good one. I like their Whale Song palette and their, I think it's their Jellyfish palette. Those two are really great. And then probably Ace Beauté. Those are, oh my god, Ace Beauté has my favorite eyeshadow formula of all time. Their Oceanic palette is to die for. It's blues and greens, stunning. But those are probably my favorite. Girl Meets Makeup is also really good. Yeah, those are probably my favorites at the moment. They make really great eyeshadow palettes, and I really love their color stories. They're very colorful and bright, and I like that. That's just kind of my vibe. So those are probably my favorites. This question is, do you have anyone in your family who loves horror as much as you do? Yes, my mom. I grew up watching horror movies with my mom. We would watch them constantly. I was watching Halloween by the age of like 5. And yeah, that was our bonding time, was watching horror movies together. So I've always watched horror with my mom. And my boyfriend actually really enjoys horror as well. I feel like he doesn't like it as much as we do because we watch it like constantly, and he kind of wants to watch other things sometimes, but he does like it a lot, and so we all watch horror movies together. We have little movie nights where we watch a bunch of movies. We're doing this thing currently where we pick random numbers and we randomly choose horror movies. Like, we go in a circle and we all pick one and we do it randomly, and then we have to watch the movie, and that's fun. You watch a lot of duds doing that, but it's not bad. It's fun, and it's easier to pick a movie. A lot of the time we can't decide on what to watch because we all have different tastes. My mom likes certain things, I like certain things, and then my boyfriend just kind of goes with the flow. So, and then this other question is, does anyone in your family watch your Booktube videos? Yes, my mom watches them and my boyfriend watches them. I don't know about anyone else. I know a few of my cousins know I do it. I'm pretty sure a few of my aunts and uncles know I do it. I don't know if they watch because I don't really talk to my extended family that often. But yeah, I know my dad knows I do YouTube videos, but I don't know if he watches because I don't know if he knows how to find my channel. So the two that I know that consistently watch me are my mom and my boyfriend. They talk about my videos to me, or they'll bring it up after I've posted and be like, hey, I watched your video. So I do know they watch it. It's not something I advertise that I do. It's not like I go on Facebook and I'm like, hey family, I make YouTube videos. I'm not super close with my extended families on either side, so we don't really talk that often, so I'm not sure how much they know. Yeah, so I don't know how many members of my family watch my channel. I guess we might know if they reply to this video. But yeah, the only two I know for certain are my mom and my boyfriend. This question got asked twice and I think it's very interesting, and it's, what horror book do you think needs to be made into a movie? And oh, that's an interesting question. I feel like a lot of them could be made into movies and I would be very excited about that. Oh, if I had to be really basic, I would say Pen Pal by Dathan Auerbach, which I feel like is kind of a cop-out because it's one of my absolute favorites, and I know that's like kind of cheating. I just really like the idea of that, and I think it being in a movie would be interesting. But I guess aside from that, if I wasn't going to pick Pen Pal, I would say Kin by Keelan Patrick Burke or Wormwood by Chad Lutzk and Tim Meyer. I think those two would also be fantastic movies. I think that would be so fun to watch. I would be so excited. Those two are some of my favorite books, so I would just be dying if they got made into movies. And which actor would I choose as the protagonist? Oh my god, I have no idea. I am so bad at thinking about which actors could play certain roles. I'm not very good at that. I kind of just am like, yeah, sure, whoever you pick, okay. I don't know. That's a question I literally probably could not answer right now. I would have to sit down and think about it for months probably, and then I could get back to you and tell you who I think could be the protagonist, like who could play the protagonist, but off the top of my head, no idea. What kind of horror story would I like to see more of? Slashers, for sure. I feel like this genre lacks slashers so much nowadays. I feel like no one really wants to write them as much, which is very disheartening to me. Maybe I'm just not paying attention and I just can't find the slasher books, but I just think there needs to be more slasher stories. I'm a big slasher fan, so I would like to see more books about slasher stories. I would really like to see that. Have you ever thought about writing your own horror book? Yes, I have. I've written out ideas for one. I would love to write my own book. However, I just don't know if I have what it takes to be an author. As someone who critiques horror books like every day and writes reviews and really just kind of criticizes someone's work, I don't know if I could let someone do the same to me. I am a very sensitive person. It does not take a lot to hurt my feelings or to make me cry. I am a Pisces. I'm also a Scorpio moon, in case you know anything about astrology, but I am a very sensitive person, and I don't take criticism very well. It's something I've always struggled with growing up, and it's not the criticism that I know is coming from a really good place. It's not that. It's more like just general criticisms that set me on the edge, and I don't know how to respond to them very well. So it's something I'm working on. But I just don't think I have like the backbone to put my whole heart and soul into writing a story and then have people tell me that it sucks. I literally don't know how these authors do it every single day, because I just think I would probably just really cry all the time, and I would probably just be devastated if someone told me they hated my book, and it would be rad. So, you know, maybe in a few years when I grow a backbone and I have some cojones, maybe. But I don't know. I can see myself writing one day. I've always thought maybe I would become a writer, but I just don't know if I have what it takes, you know? And yeah, I don't know. You know, Maybe. What horror story and or movie would you recommend to a first-time horror reader slash watcher? So for a first-time horror reader, I would recommend My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. It's very horror comedy, which I think is a good place to start with if you don't know what kind of horror you like. Darcy Coates, I also feel like, is a more tame version of horror, especially like the Black Winter series that I am currently reading. I think that's a bit more tame. It's not too scary, too spooky. I don't think anyone would genuinely like have nightmares based off of it. I mean, unless you're like a really like easily scared person, maybe then. But yeah, those I think would be good places to start, just because I don't think they're that intimidating. And horror movies, oh god. Yeah, maybe something comedy driven like Anna and the Apocalypse, which is a horror musical comedy, which is actually really fun. I actually enjoyed it. I think just something more tame, because I feel like some people might go into seeing like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and they would just be horrified if they watched that. I think Halloween's a great starting point. I'm also very biased. The original Halloween is amazing and I think everyone should watch it. So maybe there, I don't know how to gauge what's scary to someone who doesn't watch scary things. So I would say those, or at least stay with the horror comedy. Maybe work your way up with like thrillers, like something less terrifying. I don't know. That's a really hard question for someone like me. I'd have to really make a list to help someone who doesn't get involved in horror a lot. Okay, let's do one more question. I feel like this is taking kind of a long time, so this will be the question we end on. What is your favorite horror trope? And if you could only take 3 books on a trip, which ones? Ooh, okay. My favorite horror trope would either be the final girl trope or just the haunted house trope in general. I love a good final girl moment. All my favorite horror movies like Scream, Halloween, you know, they all have a final girl. So I'm really partial to the final girl trope, but I also just really like haunted house stories in general and how sometimes they're so predictable. I don't know, they're kind of comforting to me. Haunted house stories have that like comforting feeling to them. I know, don't ask me. It's, you know, whatever. Okay, and then if I could take 3 books on a trip, which ones? Okay, if I could only take 3 books on a trip, which ones? Oh my god, that's hard. Oh my god, that's really hard. I'm like looking at all my books right now. I have 0 idea. Okay, Cirque Berserk by Jessica Guess, because it is a slasher story. It's kind of gory. It's got a little bit of romance in it. Love it. Gone to See the Riverman by Christopher Triana. It's more like disturbing and extreme horror, so, you know, I feel like if I was feeling more dark, I would do that. And then, you know, lastly, let's go with the last book I just read, which was Arsenic and Adobo. I just got that in my book of the month and I read it yesterday and it was fantastic. It's a cozy mystery. It is so freaking cute and good, and it was like very lighthearted but also like intense in the best ways, and it talked about food. It was amazing. Arsenic and Adobo, a cozy mystery in case I wanted something lighthearted and cute and just kind of fun. Cirque Berserk in case I wanted something like really slashery and I just wanted to get into those 80s vibes. And then Gone to See the Riverman if I was feeling very dark and extreme. Those are my 3. I feel like that's a good range, right? You know, in case I had different moods on a trip. Yeah. Okay, that's the question I'm gonna end it on. I had so many more questions to answer, but I'm running out of time and I don't want this video to be like 8,000 years long. So if you guys enjoyed this kind of video, let me know and I will definitely do another one in case you guys do like hearing my answers. I don't know. Just let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. It lets me know what kind of content you enjoy from me. That way I can keep providing you with that kind of content. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We can become friends, talk about books, makeup, horror, movies, all kinds of things. I do a lot on this channel, so hopefully there's something for everyone. And with that being said, I hope you guys are having a really great week, and I will see you on Friday for Book Review Friday. Bye!